back. So I want to say I'm really glad that episode of fucking Game Grumps where the Oni Plays comes in. It's the episode where they play Simpsons Hit and Run.
Oh yeah.
Has spawned some of the most like weird, far-reaching Simpsons memes I've ever seen.
Like what?
Like the eggs for Bart and the Marge as a horrible rhyming goblin.
What?
Okay, so if you've never watched that, I recommend anyone who has like 20 to 30 minutes to kill, fucking watch Grumpcade crosses over with Oni Plays. Because they play a Simpsons game, and so it's Aaron Hansen from Game Grumps teamed up with Chris O'Neill, aka Oni NG, Ding Dong and Julian, and they just sit there playing Simpsons. I think it was Hit and Run. That was the GTA clone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're playing Hit and Run, and it's just they never actually start the first mission.
Oh my god.
They steal Homer's car, crash it, blow it up, and then proceed to just go around Springfield until they put in cheat codes and it almost crashes the game.
That's great.
And as they're just driving around, it slowly devolves into a contest between Ding Dong and who's doing the best Marge impression, and Aaron and Oni, who are flipping between other Simpsons characters, mostly Homer, Lenny, and Barney, and just creating these bizarre nightmare scenarios out of The Simpsons. Including, every time they did Marge, it started with her just groaning and complaining.
Homie.
Homer! It just slowly started getting more horrible and monstrous until it eventually became, Homer! You must go get eggs for Bart! I will go buy eggs for Bart! And they go start the first mission. By this point, they've turned off the game's voices and are now supplying the voices themselves.
Oh god.
It should be mentioned that this game predates subtitles, so they don't know what the characters are saying. They're just flapping their lips in time and spitting out nonsense.
Oh, so I found out what that thing with status effects is. Turns out you cannot be status effect by a move that is the same type as you, so long as the status effect is a secondary effect of the move, not the primary.
Ah!
So Weirdwolf can sit here and absorb all of the smogs.
And be fine.
And be fine, because the attack also deals damage.
Okay. Hit the switch.
But, what this means in-game is, or in the metagame, this was only actually discovered a couple years ago, it just somehow slipped under the radar. And what this means for the metagame is that Snorlax and Chansey are way more powerful than previously thought, because Body Slam is the most common normal type move, and they cannot be affected by its paralysis secondary effect.
Huh. Yeah, I guess they wouldn't be.
Yeah, and I mean, Tauros is already, bar none, the single greatest Pokemon in Gen 1. I mean, unless you count Mewtwo.
Yeah. I mean, Mewtwo is late game for a reason.
Yeah, Mewtwo is also banned from competitive. Mewtwo was built to be best Pokemon.
Yeah, both in and out of Crunch.
Yep.
But yeah, so, I do recommend... fuck it, we'll watch it when this session is done, because it is one of the funniest fucking videos I've ever watched.
Sounds good to me.
And it is just like, if you enjoy the concept of just Simpsons shit-talking, it is the greatest. Because they all admit they are actual fans of The Simpsons, but all of them are the kind of fans who are willing to shit-talk things they like.
Well, yeah, I mean, unless you're willing to shit-talk the things you like, you're never gonna have any fun.
Yeah. So, oh god, and,
like, I shit-talk Fallout New Vegas all the damn time, despite the fact that it's my favorite Fallout.
Yeah. I still argue it's probably one of the best settings they've had, just because the Old West really takes well to being a, post-apocalypse.
Yeah. I maintain that Fallout New Vegas is like if you go to see the Mona Lisa, but every 5 minutes you just have to take a 30-second break.
Yeah.
It is an absolute masterpiece, but it keeps breaking down.
Oh man, what was I gonna say about that? Yeah.
I mean, it's not like everyone who wants to play it hasn't modded the fuck out of it so it runs better anyway.
Yeah. I was gonna say, one of my favorite things about New Vegas 2 is that I frequently go to Las Vegas because I have relatives down there to visit.
Yeah.
And, it's funny, because you could drive through most of Las Vegas, and it's exactly what they advertise it. It's a paradise in the middle of a desert. Hit the switch, because that'll flip.
I did hit the switch already.
Didn't you? No, you didn't. You walked right past it.
I'm a fucking moron. Please. What the fuck?
If you stepped out, I was gonna warn you that it's a drop.
Oh, well, now we know. Or now I know, at least.
Now we're here. Who are you? There shouldn't be anyone here. This is my fortress of solitude, my fapatorium.
I am the Sky Child. I have fallen through the... Oh, no.
Oh, dear.
Oh, wait. That's low level. I can handle that.
Get him the fuck out. Switch to any of your ground types. But for the love of fuck.
Big defense. Full health. Yep.
Well, alright then.
Please no.
Ooh.
Oh boy. Oh, that was a crit.
Yikes.
Yay!
Hey! What I was about to try to warn you too was that if he actually... Leave him in, he can win this.
Yeah.
Is if he actually used an electric attack, it would also have been a one-hit KO, probably.
Yep. Weezing also has self-destruct. I'm not taking those chances.
This is true.
Oh, damn. I was kind of hoping we'd get that meme where it's like, I have two Pokemon, and they both use self-destruct. Oh no, how did I lose?
Oh, man. What was it?
You know what? Fuck it.
Hey, down he goes.
I'm higher level and way faster.
Yeah, let's just not let the problem happen. Yeah. If you go to real Las Vegas and drive in the wrong parts of the city, it looks an awful lot like New Vegas.
Like Freeside, or like...
I mean the Wasteland.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I mean...
Complete with the rundown houses. That marketing crash hit them harder than they want to admit.
Really?
Oh yeah. See, it's funny. In Las Vegas, proper, you pay almost no tax.
Right, yeah, because...
Everything's subsidized by the gambling.
Well, that, and it's not actually a city. It's what's called Paradise. It is an unincorporated area that is actually outside the bounds of Las Vegas. That way they pay no municipal taxes.
Yeah. Unless you happen to live in one of the smaller burbs that have been absorbed into Vegas, much like Hamilton eats other small cities.
Yeah.
And Toronto is going to eventually eat Hamilton.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, we're slowly pushing towards each other, and let's be honest, we know who's going to win between Hamilton and Toronto.
Yeah. Aw, oh, fuck off.
What, you ran away?
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, no, the housing crisis hit Vegas hard, because despite no tax, the land is still not cheap. Because being in the one part of a desert that is not having water problems tends to cost you something.
Yep.
California is currently drying up and burning. Meanwhile, Las Vegas has literally enough water to piss it away in stupid fountains.
You know, there was actually a study put out by UC Berkeley in January of this year that suggested that the underbrush of the forest needed to be removed or there would be a severe risk of wildfire. And if it was not removed when a wildfire occurred, it would be far worse and start far more ancillary fires than if it had had the underbrush cleared.
The funnier part was that California was like, no, we're not going to clear the underbrush because of reasons.
And now...
they burnt down.
This is one of the few instances where Trump is actually correct. Of course, he believes that this means raking the forest, which is not the case, but if a bunch of people had actually gone through with machetes and cleared out a bunch of the smaller plants and shit, they would be in a lot
He's
better
right in
position.
principle, just not in execution.
Yeah. Someone has fed him the right idea, and he is parroting it wrongly.
I was gonna say, I wouldn't be shocked if this man who's only ever lived in New York doesn't actually know that a rake is not the proper tool for this.
No, it's fucking chainsaws.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is, think about it. I don't think Donald Trump, the man who's only ever lived in city sprawls,
Yeah, he's probably
actually
never-
understands what level of wildfire brush looks like.
He may have never actually seen a natural forest.
Yeah. Would it shock you?
Not really.
It's a man who made big money off buildings.
I mean, we live in Hamilton.
We barely see forestry at all.
Well, I mean, I go on the trails, so it's a bit different. But yeah, there's not a lot of
Not in... Well, okay.
Not in the city proper.
In Hamilton, there's a lot of trees, but they're not wild. Like... So in Canada, we actually do have a lot more, like, greenery per square foot than America would. But it's all under control. Like, they're trees and potters and in lawns and shit. Like, we don't have them growing like forests in the city. Outside of the city, we have designated areas where you're not allowed to do shit with them. And you gotta let them grow wild.
Actually,
Although we're slowly getting rid of those due to a lot of money being thrown at them because that's still good real estate.
Yeah, we have something called the green belt, which you're basically not allowed to touch. But
They do it anyway.
Ford has now decided that the green belt does not apply if the cities are willing to say that the green belt does not apply.
I thought he backed down from that when everyone's like told him that was a terrible idea.
He did. He said he would open up the green belt for real estate development, and then all the voters were like, "No, this is a shit idea. You should stop doing it." And then he said he wouldn't do it, and now he's done it. Yeah, fuck. We should have elected someone who had an actual campaign, as opposed to someone who made a bunch of promises that really don't line up with anything.
Yeah.
And like,
I think more or less we've gotten everything out of here that we're gonna get, unless you want to keep grinding.
that's fair enough. We voted against the Liberals, not for Ford. But unfortunately, because so many people still hate the NDP because of Ray Days back in the 90s, the NDP still aren't seen as a viable option anywhere outside of Hamilton and Toronto. So...
I mean, I can almost not blame them. Because those Ray Days really fucked up a lot of stuff.
Those Ray Days fucked up a lot of public sector unions who refused to negotiate either pay cuts or layoffs when they were hemorrhaging money and the province was about to go under. Honestly, I think Ray Days were a great idea, and that the unions were just being unrealistic about how much money the province was able to throw at them.
Yeah. I mean, one must look at it from the point of view of, like, regardless of realistic or not, that's what the union has to do. They can't, by their own nature, they cannot throw any individual under the bus. Like, by the nature, it doesn't matter if it's unrealistic, it doesn't matter if it's unsustainable. By the very obligations upon which they were founded. Oh, right! There is a reason to go into that fucking house. They have the key to the gym for some reason.
Fuck.
Talk to the NPCs, one of them knows. But yeah, no, by the very nature of the Union, they are obligated to fight and die on their hills, regardless if everyone involved thinks it's a bad idea.
Well, the union's not... Like, unions have taken concessions in the past, and quite frankly, they needed to have accepted a concession, as opposed to just walking away from the bargaining table, at which point whatever happens to them, they deserve. But yeah, they didn't want any layoffs, and they didn't want anyone to have their pay
Not
cut.
this one, this is the dead end.
And in order to, like, if that had happened, and no one had gotten a pay cut, and no one had been laid off, the province would have gone bankrupt. So what wound up happening is Bob Ray said, fine, you don't want anyone to get laid off, you don't want anyone to get their pay cut, we'll just cut everyone's hours in half. And that's what happened. Every public sector employee, like a whole bunch of industries, was told that 3 days out of the week they are unemployed now. And, yeah.
I don't even know why everyone would be mad. To me, that just sounds great. 3-day week.
Well, because a whole bunch of people were...
I know exactly why that's bad.
Yeah, because people need money to live.
Yeah.
And if they were willing to accept less money, they would have had full-time jobs. instead of everyone getting cut to part-time.
Yeah, well, that's what you get for being unreasonable.
Yep, mandatory job sharing.
Alright, folks. Oh yeah, we gotta finish this fight, then we'll see you next time. But, yeah.
Basically, the NDP fucked up a lot of things for a lot of people, but it was really kind of their own fault.
Yeah, well, I mean, much like how,
They also ran the most balanced budget in recent Ontario history.
I was gonna say, don't bother with Mega Kick anyway.
I know, I meant to use the horn one, I just misclicked.
Just beat him up.
Yeah, but it'll go quicker with this.
And not if you miss every turn.
No, but it has about a 50% hit rate on this, because I have way higher speed and a higher level.
Alright, we'll see you next time, folks.
Bye, everybody.